الملائكة أجمعين والعاقبة لأهل التقوى واليقين. الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس ويطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وهو أصدق الصادقين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Respected brothers and sisters in Iman, Salamun Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
First and foremost, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of the blessings that He has given us.
MashaAllah.
We send our salams, our salutations, and our prayers to our Imam Zamana
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rehasten his appearance, and may Allah give us the tawfiq that we can be a part of his army, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Today, the majlis, we will give the thawab to Sayyid Jalal Janabi, Sayyida Zainab Lachani, Sayyid Muhammad Janabi, Sayyid Hussein Janabi, Sayyid Mehr Nizad Janabi, Sayyid Marjan Janabi, and Sayyid Mahta Janabi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise the soul with the souls of Shuhada'i Karbala. For those who are in need of our prayers, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them complete shifa.
Ameen.
Today, our lecture is going to be on what gifts can we give our marhumin and marhuma.
MashaAllah.
As we all know, as long as you come to this earth, there will come a time when you have to leave. When you leave, the doors of getting thawab and ajr have not been closed.
MashaAllah.
You can remember your deceased ones in many different ways. For example, you can give your deceased ones the benefit of salawat, the benefit of reciting Quran, the benefit of giving them dua.
MashaAllah.
All of these help the deceased people. The deceased people, they are in their graves. When you send them a salawat or a ayat, they get it in a shape of a gift. It might be some fruits from Jannah. It might be a different gift. When their friends ask them, how did you get this gift in the qabr? They respond, today or tonight, our loved ones remembered us in such a way that Allah is giving this to us.
MashaAllah.
Everyone has deceased people in their lives, whether a father, or whether a mother, or any family relatives. It becomes a duty on you once someone passes away that you do not forget them. Remember those brothers and sisters who have left the dunya. Make sure you remember them. Tonight, we are going to mention a narration from our fourth Imam, Imam Zainul Abidin, salawatullah salamu
Salli
alayhi.
ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
In this one narration, as I was mentioning, dua, The Imam, Salaam alaykum salam, as I was mentioning, dua. The Imam mentions why your du'as are not being accepted. Allahu Akbar. Many of us, we have the same goal, we have the same motive. I will go to Hajj, I will go to Umrah, I will go to Ziyarat, I will go to prayer. Why? Because I want to pray. But then the Imam says there are some reasons the dua is not being accepted. Allahu Akbar. The first reason the Imam mentions is su'un niyyah. The dua is not being accepted. Why? There is a problem with the niyyah. There's a problem with the intention.
Yep.
This is why our a'mal, we have been taught, before you do any amal, every single amal you do the niyat. I am, for example, praying Maghrib qurbatan ilallah. So I get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanallah.
Now the Imam says, one of the main reasons the dua is not being accepted is su'un niyyah. There is a problem in the niyyah. What happens many of the times, brothers, they have good intentions, but they get sidetracked. I will sponsor the majlis and I will call the biggest khatib in the world and I will call the world renowned reciter. Why? Because I want the people to know that I have money.
MashaAllah.
I have power. I have connections. There's a problem in the need. Allah.
Connection.
I am helping somebody not because fi sabilillah or that is my haqq on other brothers and sisters. I am helping Fulan ibn Fulan so later on in life he can help me. Allahu Akbar. This is why our third Imam, Imam Hussein, salawatullah wa salamu alayhi,
Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
he has a beautiful narration. He says, whenever you are ready to help someone and you help someone, you help them without having the intention that you are going to hold that favor above their neck for the rest of their lives. In our communities, that's exactly what happened. People remind you many
Over and
years
over.
down the road, do you remember when I did this favor for you?
Over and over.
The Imam says, when you do a favor, delete it from your mind as if you have never done that.
Allahu Akbar.
Learn how to let go of things and delete things. It is going to make you a better person. Many of the brothers and sisters, they hold grudges. 30 years, 40 years, they hold that grudge. They don't speak to the person. The Imam says, delete the hatred that you have from the people. For the first reason is, the du'as are not being accepted is su'un niyyat, the intention or the niyyat needs to be correct. Our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar al-Sadiq,
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The Imam was asked, how can we clean our heart? The Imam says the niyyat, and he says qalbun salim, the pure heart. When you or I, we were giving this heart, it was a pure heart. It was not full of hatred towards others. It was not full of gossiping or backbiting or sinning. It was given to us with qalbun salim. On Yawmul Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, we are going to forgive those who came to us with qalbun salim. Allah. When the sixth Imam was asked, "O Imam, what is the definition of qalbun salim?" The Imam says, there is nothing in their hearts except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no love of dunya. Allahu Akbar. There's nothing in that heart. That heart is so pure. That heart is so crystal clear that nothing exists except the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah.
Every action that I do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every ibadat that I do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every favor that I do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my brothers and sisters, the first lesson we learn is we need to correct our intentions. We need to correct our niyyahs. The second reason why the du'as are not being accepted, this is from Imam Zainul Abidin salawatullah
صل
wasalam
على
alayhi.
محمد وآل محمد.
The second reason the Imam says is being a hypocrite to the brothers and sisters. Some of the brothers and sisters, may Allah show them the right path. They have two faces. Allah. In front of you, there's something different. Behind your back, there's something
Totally
different.
opposite.
Allah. This is why the seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Kazim, Kazim al-Bayt,
اللهم
salawatullah
صل
wasalam
على
alayhi.
محمد وآل محمد.
He says, be afraid and be scared of that person who has two faces. And those people who have two faces, they are not among our Shias. However you are in front of somebody, that's how you should be behind their back. However you act in the masjid, that's how you should be acting at home. However you act in the masjid, that's how you should be acting in the workplace, in the schools, wherever you go. This is what Ahlul Bayt have taught you. So do not be a hypocrite to your brothers and sisters. Do not give empty promises to your brothers and sisters. If you know you cannot do something, do not keep telling the brother, inshallah, inshallah, I will take care of it, inshallah. No. Be transparent. My brother, I cannot do this. My sister, I cannot do this. Please don't bother me again. Do not be a hypocrite to your brothers or sisters. That is the second reason why the du'as are not accepted. Alaykum as-salam. The third reason why the du'as are not being accepted is, the Imam says, using of foul language. The communities that we come from, we are known as the Desi communities. It has become a urf. It has become a normality to use foul language. Allah. The Imam says, if you use foul language, your du'as will not be accepted. In our communities, many people use different words. If you want to speak to your son, you call him that word. I went to a place, this part of the world that I went to, from the time we wake up until Azan, all they're doing is using cursing and swearing words. When the Azan goes on, they say, please pause. That 5-8 minutes, they pause, let the Azan go on, and then they start again. Allah. This cursing and they're swearing. The Imam says, the more you curse, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept your ibadah. In order to get your ibadah accepted, there's some curtains. You have to remove those curtains. And if you keep using foul languages, even in this part of the world, I can give you many examples of brothers and sisters who even call me and they are using these kinds of words. What has happened? They have trained their mind to a point that they don't even know that they are using foul language. They have come so accustomed to using these words, now they cannot even see who they are speaking to or what they are speaking about. Allah. They have turned into a person of ignorance. They have turned into a person of jahal. When Imam Ali salawatullah wasalamu alayhi, when the Imam was asked, can you please describe the person who is a jahil? The Imam says, I feel sorry for the jahil. Why? The jahil is a jahil. In reality, he thinks he knows everything, but he does not even know anything. And he doesn't even know that he doesn't know anything. Then the Imam, he has a beautiful khutbah in Nahjul Balagha in which he tells what a true alim is and what a fake alim is. The Imam says the true alim does not go around to people and proclaiming or showing off his ilm. The fake alim goes around and telling everybody, I have studied this, I have done this. The Imam says the fake alim does not even know he is a fake alim. People call him alim. In reality, he is known as the jahil.
Jahil.
Allahu Akbar. The Ahlul Bayt, they want you to become successful individuals in this dunya and akhirah. This is why they advise you. You go to college, you go to school, you get these jobs, you start a business. Why? They want you to take you out of jahalat and become a successful person. The third reason the du'as are not being accepted is using of foul language. The first one was niyyat. The second one was being a hypocrite to your brothers and sisters. The third one is using foul language. Moving along, the fourth reason why the du'as are not being accepted from Imam Zainul Abidin salawatullah wa salamu alayhi. The fourth reason the du'as are not being accepted, delaying your wajibat on purpose. Whether that is giving money to somebody, charity, whether that is delaying your prayers, whether that is delaying any kind of wajib. If you delay your wajib, the Imam says, Allah Azza wa Jal will not accept the ibadah. You have to prioritize your ibadah. Some people have it the opposite way. They prioritize their career over everything. Oh, my boss is calling me here. My boss is calling me here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling you many times a day and you don't say labbaik. Allah Azza wa Jal is calling you, Fridays, come, meet your brothers and sisters, sit down in Jummah, pray, have a chat, see what is going on in the communities, but you are not saying labbaik. Prioritizing ibadat over everything. This is what the Imam had advised. Especially the prayers. Make sure, my brothers and sisters, no matter how young, no matter how old you are, you never delay your wajib prayers on purpose. This is why Imam Hussein, salawatullah wa salam alayhi, in the battlefield of Karbala, there's swords, there's spears, there's arrows. Children are crying, Al-Atash, Al-Atash. While the battlefield is going on, the Imam calls the messenger. He says, "O messenger, go to the Yazid forces and give them a message. We are going to pause the war because it is time to pray." Allahu Akbar. Ali Akbar, the son of Imam Hussein, comes and he says, "Oh my father, can we wait a little bit longer?" The Imam says, "Oh Ali Akbar, if we wait, what is the difference between us and them?" Allah. So you being a lover of Abu Abdullah, you being a lover of Imam Jafar Sadiq, make sure you always do your ibadat, especially the wajib prayers, on time. Insha'Allah. This is why the sixth Imam, Imam Jafar Sadiq, he says, test our Shi'as. You know, you could test yourself. Where does my iman lie? How strengthened is my taqwa? You can test yourself. There's a way to test yourself. You want to test where your iman is, where your taqwa is? Test yourself in the time of Fajr prayer. Allahu Akbar. You will realize how strong your taqwa is. Allahu Akbar. Some ulama, they didn't even have alarm clocks. And they used to wake up for Salatul Tahajjud. Because the Iman, their taqwa, they had trained their mind, they had trained their souls in such a way that they could wake. This is why the sixth Imam says, test our Shias in the time of prayers. How do they protect them? Those people who protect the prayers, they can have the laqab of being the Shia of Jafar. Recite aloud, salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
The fifth and the last reason the Imam says your du'as are not being accepted is, this is from Imam Ali salawatullah wa salam
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
The Imam says insan is ajib. Imam Ali is saying insan is ajib. He says he wants to go into heaven, but he is doing actions which is getting him closer to the hellfire. The Imam says insan is ajib. He says he is the enemy of the devil, the enemy of shaitan, but the actions that he is doing are making the shaitan happy. Allahu Akbar. The Imam, last thing I will mention, the Imam says there are many reasons why the du'as are not accepted. The Imam says you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you believe in the book of Allah, you even read the Quran, but you are not applying the Quran on your lives. If you are not applying the Quran on your lives, the Imam says, how will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your dua? There are many other reasons. I will leave it for now. Moving along, the topic was, what gifts can we give our marhumeen? And I'll mention that you can give them surahs. One of the main things that you can send gifts and donations to your marhumeen marhumat is recitation of Quran. Yasin, Rahman, Ayatul Kursi, whatever you remember. If you don't remember, you could read it from the Quran itself. The marhumeen, they are waiting for your gifts. Every Thursday night, the marhumeen marhumat, they come to their houses. As long as you remember them, once you forget them, they stop coming. When they stop coming, their friends around the graves, they ask them, what happened? You used to go to your house? And they respond with a sad voice, my son has forgotten about me. Allahu Akbar. My daughters do not remember me anymore. So do not forget your marhumeen marhumat. Give them the recitation of Quran. Recitation of Quran is so powerful, my brothers and sisters, that Allah Azza wa Jal can forgive all of the sins of a person. For example, one day, Prophet Isa, he is traveling into the mountains with his companion. When they are traveling, they go by a graveyard. When they're going by a graveyard, there's one grave, there is smoke coming out of that grave. O Prophet of Allah, O Isa ibn Maryam, why is there smoke coming out of this grave? The Prophet responds, he says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing azab on this person. The azab is so severe that there is fire in this dunya. Allah. When they come back, few days later, same grave. There is no more smoke, now there is flower. Prophet of Allah, what happened now? He responds and he says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to forgive all of the sins of this man. How? What happened? The man who is lying in this grave, he had a small boy who was 5 or 6 years old. On the first day, he learned the first lesson. The first lesson was Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Subhanallah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided that the small child who is calling me Rahman, who is calling me Rahim, I will forgive all of his father's sins.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
Quran is very powerful, my brothers and sisters. Do not forget your marhumin, marhumat. Last thing, give your marhumin, marhumat the thawab of ziyarate Ashura. One of the most powerful thing you can do for yourself and your marhumin is you can recite ziyarate Ashura. One of the great ulama, he comes into the dream of his student and he says, is there one thing that you wish you can do again? He says, yes. I only used to recite Ziyarat Ashura once every day. Once I reached the hereafter, now I wish I had recited it twice every single day. It is so powerful. A short story about the Ziyarat Ashura. There was a man by the name of Ustad Ashraf. Ustad, we call someone Ustad whether he is a teacher or whether they fix things. He used to fix things. And he used to have his store. In that community, there used to be a Mulana, and that Mulana, he used to have a friend. That friend, sometimes he was religious, sometimes he was not religious. Sometimes he would take the prayer seriously, sometimes he did not take the prayer seriously. Some of the brothers in the communities, they take religion seriously sometimes, and sometimes they don't. One day what happens, that Maulana's friend, he passes away. Now Maulana is thinking to himself, they bury him. Many nights later he thinks to himself, I wonder what happened to my friend. Did he make it into Jannah or did he not? In that night, his friend comes to him wearing white libas. If anybody comes to you in your dream wearing white libas, that means they have passed and they are in Jannah. He says to his friend, what happened? How did you make it? He says, I only have the permission to tell you that I made it into Jannah because last night Ustad Ashraf's wife passed away. She passed away. She was so pious, she was so noble. Imam Hussein left Karbala and he came to Iran. As soon as Imam Hussein, as soon as he put his right foot in that graveyard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided that the son of Zahra is so noble, we will forgive every single person in that graveyard. What was that one amal that she used to do? His friend says, I cannot answer that. You have to go tomorrow and ask them. He goes to Ustad Ashraf. He sees that the store is closed. He says, my wife has passed away. The store will be closed for 3 days. He goes, he recites the Fatiha. He asks Ustad Ashraf, oh Ustad Ashraf, what was that one amal that your wife used to do every single night? Was she a Zakirah Hussein? He says, no, she was not a Zakirah Hussein. Was she a Zairah Hussein? No, she was not a Zairah Hussein. But, oh Maulana, there was one thing that she used to do every single night before she used to sleep. She used to recite Ziyarate Ashura.
MashaAllah.
Allahu Akbar. The power of Ziyarate Ashura, my brothers and sisters, is that if you have your ibadat in order, if you are a pious person, Aba Abdullah will come to your grave. Allah.
Subhanallah.
So give your marhumin and marhumat the thawab of Ziyarat Ashura.
MashaAllah.
Do not forget your marhumin and marhumat. make sure you keep giving them different gifts. You keep giving them different donations. If you keep giving it to them, when you pass away, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put love of you in somebody and they will return the favor to you. Last narration, and then I will end my speech. This is from Imam Jafar al-Sadiq.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
The Imam says, you are all the ambassadors of the Ahlul Bayt. When they have the UN meeting, all the ambassadors come, they represent their own nations. You and I, we are representing Abu Abdullah. This is why Imam Jafar Sadiq says,
اللهم صل.
wherever you go, make sure you represent us in such a way that it is a form of beauty. Your akhlaq, your mannerism, the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, everything you do, people ask, why is this person such good-hearted? Why is this person always smiling? They would say, because he is the follower of the Shariat of Jafar al-Sadiq. You are the representative of the Ahlul Bayt. We are all the Safirs. Make sure wherever you go in life, make sure you represent the house of Ahlul Bayt, that people are attracted to this house. In the musibat, in the masa'ib, my brothers and sisters, I will only recite 3 sentences. Since this is the majlis of a father, I am going to recite the first sentence of Imam Hussein when he took out Ali Asghar. Allahu Akbar. When Mukhtar al-Thaqafi, he caught the killers of Abu Abdullah, he would sit them down and he would ask them questions. Among one of the questions he asked Hurmila is, oh Hurmila, Hurmila is the one who fired the arrow at Ali Asghar. Hurmila, was there ever a time in Karbala that you felt sorry for my Imam? Allah. He says, yes. There was one time. When I fired the arrow toward Ali Asghar, the arrow was flying in the air. I was looking at the arrow. The army was looking at the arrow. Abu Abdullah was looking at his small son. Then he would look at the arrow. Then he would look at Ali Asghar again. And he says, when that arrow hit Ali Asghar, Allahu Akbar, it hit him in 3 places. And it pierced through the small neck of Ali Asghar, and it went through the hand of Abu Abdullah. When it went through the hand of Abu Abdullah, it was pierced in such a way that your master tried to put the arrow, tried to take the arrow out. He tried it once, it didn't come out. He tried again, it didn't come out. After the 3rd time, when he failed, he looked towards Nahri Furat and he says, oh Abul Fazl al-Abbas, oh Abbas, where are you? Please come to my aid. Allahu Akbar. The second sentence I would recite is for Sayyida Sakina. Allahu Akbar. My brothers and sisters, this is a heartbreaking story of a small child who was only 4 years old. When Abu Abdullah is left all alone, Allahu Akbar, she comes, very last moments, Abu Abdullah asks the permission from the sisters. When the Imam is going, he orders Zuljana, oh Zuljana, move. It doesn't move. First time, second time, 3rd time, in its own language, Zuljana says, oh Abu Abdullah, please look in my feet. When it looks in his feet, it is Sakina, it is grabbing the horse, and it's saying, please do not take my father. I am used to sleeping on the chest of my father. Imam gets off the horse, When he gets off the horse, he picks up Sakina. Allahu Akbar. He kisses her on the cheeks and he says, "Oh Sakina, I used to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbul Alameen, give me a daughter that I cannot live without. She cannot live without me. And when you tell me to come to you, I leave her while she is crying." Allah. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, a small child saying goodbye to her father. The Imam puts her down and the Imam goes to the battlefield and he sacrifices himself. One more sentence from Sayyidah Sakina. This is after the battlefield of Karbala. Sayyidah Sakina, my brothers and sisters, physically the shape, the way she was, she couldn't fall asleep. There were so many bruises on the small body of Sakina. Her earlobes would hurt when she would try to sleep on the right side. On the left side, she would try to sleep, they would hurt. And there's one mal'oon by the name of Zajar ibn Qais. When Abu Abdullah is being killed by Shimr mal'oon, Sayyidah Sakina, she runs. At first, Shimr pushes her off. The second time. The third time, he called Zajar ibn Qais. Zajar ibn Qais, you come and take this child. He pushes her, she comes back. Please do not kill my father. He picks her up in the air and he throws her on the ground. She turns around to Medina and she says, "Oh, grandmother Fatima, my ribs are broken just like your ribs were broken." Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Last sentence. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you. May you never see any grief except the grief of the Ahlul Bayt. Last sentence. This is after the event of Karbala. Sayyidah, she would have a hard time sleeping. She would always ask Sayyid Sajjad, "Where is my father? Oh, my brother, please, I need to see my father." She would cry in the nights. So one of the nights, Yazid agrees that we will give the head of Abu Abdullah. The Imam, he puts a handkerchief over the head of Abu Abdullah and he brings him inside where they were captive. Now the Imam has the head hidden and Sayyidah Sakina looks at the Imam and she says, "Oh, my brother, I didn't ask you for food. The only thing that I wanted was my father. Or my brother, I didn't ask you for water." Now the Imam says, "Oh Sakina, it's not food or water." The Imam takes his abba or handkerchief off. What does Sayyidah Sakina see? She sees the head of Abu Abdullah. There's blood on the right side. There's blood on the left side. There is sand on the face of Abu Abdullah. She picks the head and she says some sentences. The first sentence, "Oh my father, who was the one who made me yateen?" Allahu Akbar. "Oh my father, all of the small daughters of the people of Sham, they sleep in their favorite beds and their pillows. Look at Sakina, she is sleeping on rocks. Oh my father, all the daughters of the people of Sham, they drink their favorite drinks. Look at Sakina, we don't even get water for 3 days. And when we ask, they give us hot water." Allah. Last sentence, my brothers and sisters. The way the captives, Sayyidah Zainab, and the way they were kept, the room they were kept in, it was an open sky. Sayyidah Sakina, when the sun would go down and she would see the birds, she would ask Sayyidah Zainab, "Oh my aunt, where are they going?" She would say, "Oh Sakina, they are going home." She used to ask, "Oh my aunt, will there ever be a time when we return home?" She would say, "We would go home, but you are not going to be with us. you will stay. She asked, what would happen to me? Sakina, you are going to die here and you will be buried in Sham. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our ibadat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the thawab of this to those who are sponsored today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a tawfiq. We can follow the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt. May Allah give us the tawfiq that we can go to Hajj, Umrah, Ziyarat on annual basis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq. When the Imam comes, we can be a part of his army, inshaAllah. And we will end with Dua Imam Zamana. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma kun liwaliyika al-hujjat ibn al-Hasan
صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة ولي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.